Hey, it's Cobra here at MaddenGuides.com, and for this Madden 22 offensive plays video breakdown, I want to take a look at a play that features 3 press man beaters that allows you to get off the line of scrimmage without being jammed if they call bump and run man coverage or press man coverage. And the name of the play is going to be called Gun Empty Trey Stack Curl Switch. So let's go ahead and take a look at the play diagram and some play info about this particular play. Again, this one's called the Gun Empty Trey Stack Curl Switch. You're going to find it out of the Buccaneers playbook. It features 2 tight ends and 3 receivers. The personnel group is 2. The play type is pass, obviously. The concept is switch. The primary receiver is going to be the split end. It has 5 pass routes and 5 pass blockers. All right, let's go ahead and get onto the play call screen first before we get actually on the field. I want to go ahead and just show it to you guys where you guys can find this one. As I've already mentioned, you'll find this out of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playbook, and you'll find it in the Gun Empty Trey Stack. It's going to be lined up right here as you look at it. So as you're looking on your screen there, it's this one right here. That's the play that we're going to be running here if you're following along. As far as on the defensive side of the ball, we're just going to start off here out of the $326. The name of the play that we're going to use for this breakdown, at least initially, is called Cover 2 Man LB Blitz, so we're going to go ahead and run that. All right, let's go ahead and get on the field. And I'm going to run through some of the routes real quick with you so you guys can just see them as you look at your screen here. I'm going to start off on the left-hand side here. You've got 2 routes that are being ran right here as you look at it. The first route I'm going to talk about is the receiver that's stacked up behind the receiver in the front of him, which is going to be, in this case, we're going to go ahead and call him the flanker, if you will. We'll go ahead and call him that. And what he runs essentially is a post route with an inside release into this area here. This receiver is going to be the receiver that you look to throw to. I realize that the other receiver in front of him is actually the play's primary receiver. However, that's not the receiver that we're going to look to throw to. And actually, I meant to say not flanker. I meant to say we're going to go ahead and call him the slot, because this other receiver who's lined up right here, let's go back and zoom back in. We're going to make him the split in. And what he runs more or less is a curl route with an outside release where he goes up in this area here. Now that route actually is pretty nice. It's not an unbumpable, but once he curls back, a lot of times against man coverage, you'll find that he's open for a pass. All right, let's work our way over to this side of the field. Just take a look at a couple of receivers here. The first one we want to look at is going to be the tight end, who's lined up in the slot. So as you look at it, he runs this crossing route. So what he's going to do is he's going to go into this area here. A lot of times he'll be open for a nice passing play that you can throw to, especially if he doesn't get jammed at the line of scrimmage, and you'll be able to look for him if the post route is not open. Let's go ahead and work our way over to the other receiver here that I want to go ahead and feature here, which is the tight end. And he's lined up right here. The other tight end's lined up in the slot. He's running this route here, which is going to be the whip route. So he's going to go up in this area here, and then he's going to break back towards the sideline. Depending on what you do with him before the snap will determine if he gets jammed at the line of scrimmage. We're going to talk about that more in the video breakdown. Let's work our way over here to the outside just really quick. This receiver right here, as you look at it, this particular receiver is going to run basically a dig route, so when he rounds it off and he comes across in the middle. Now this route, I'd tell you, in a lot of cases, this route's pretty effective against man coverage, so it's another route you can throw to. The only problem with it is it does take some time to develop. Of all the pass routes on this particular play, it's actually the longest route to develop, even that post route, because there's 2 different points, and we're going to talk about that here in just a second, where you can make the throw depending on what the defense does. But that particular route right there, that deep dig route, that's probably the longest developing route of this particular play. All right, so what I want to do is I'm just going to go ahead and run this play. I'm not going to make any adjustments or anything like that. Just going to get up here and snap it. And I'm not really worried about getting sacked or anything like that. I just want to show you the routes. So that's what we're going to do right there, right off the bat. All right, so let's go in instant replay, because I kind of want to walk you through some different things you can watch for when you're running this play and what to look for. So the first thing I'm going to suggest to you is to locate these safeties. If you see these safeties splitting out wide, or it looks like it could be a cover 2, then a lot of times what you really should be thinking about right off the bat is hitting this receiver here once he breaks towards the post, or if it's an opportunity, especially if there's a quick pass rush, an example, maybe a blitz or something like that, you really want to look to throw into here or as I mentioned here. So you really got those two spots that you can make the throw to with this particular route right there that's being ran by that receiver. In those two spots, in most cases, you can beat man coverage with. So that's what you want to do when you're running this route. That should be your first read, either the first spot where I'm showing or the second spot, because you're going to really find him open in most cases, especially against cover 2 man. All right, now if you continue on with this, let's go back in here again and just run this. Now, I mentioned this play has 3 unbumpables. Well, the other unbumpable without doing anything, here's the second unbumpable as you're looking at your screen. It's going to be that tight end is running that crossing route. That's the next option. With him, you should be able to find him somewhere open as he comes across, and where I'm showing here with this, somewhere in this area here, you should be able to make that throw, especially once he gets where he gets the defender behind him. In this case, you can see now he's getting behind. We can make that throw and complete it for a nice gain. So that's the other option. If you don't do anything at all, you're going to have 2 unbumpables right off the bat without making any adjustments at all. But just keep in mind, those other routes, they're all good routes to run as far as attacking man coverage for the most part. So as you look at it, I know it doesn't look like it on the screen, but trust me, you can hit all these routes, and we're going to do this in here in just a minute. So you definitely got 2 right off the bat. So let's go ahead. I mentioned this play has 3 unbumpables. There is another unbumpable, and I'm going to show this to you right now, and that's going to be this tight end who's lined up in the slot. What you're going to want to do with him is you're going to want to motion him slightly to the inside here. I'm going to go ahead and show this to you. We're going to motion it to the inside a little bit, and then we're going to snap it. And then what he's going to do is he's going to kind of go into this area here, and then he's going to break back to the outside. And you'll notice he will not get jammed at the line of scrimmage. And then he could be your other option. Here's your third unbumpable right there. So now you've got 3 unbumpable routes that you can run. Now, I do want to show you something else. If you do this, if you so choose to do this, now remember, if we don't motion him, he gets jammed at the line of scrimmage more than likely. However, if we motion him and let him set, maybe you're playing in a league where they force you to let the receiver that you put in motion to set, then that's fine, because now his route becomes unbumpable. If a defender is lined up across from the tight end to the inside tight end, such as you see on your screen here, such as this, and this defender is not, he's not blitzing, but he's in man coverage, then a lot of times he's going to press this guy right here. But watch what happens once we snap the ball here. He's going to jam that receiver, but I want to show you what happens once we snap it. All right? And then you're going to see something like that happen. So if you were to go back and look at this, initially, let's go ahead and put this guy back in motion and put him in here. Initially, I'm going to go ahead and zoom back in here. Initially, this guy right here was supposed to be in man coverage on him. But once the ball is snapped, then he becomes guarding, defending this guy. He jams this guy. And now this defender right here is now in coverage on this guy right here. So I don't want to get you all confused, but that's what happens. And that's why this receiver doesn't get jammed at the line of scrimmage. So I just want to point that out to you. So you have, if you go ahead and motion this receiver to the inside, this tight end, if you snap it before he sets, then you're going to get 3 unbumpables. If you allow him to go all the way to the inside and where he sets, then you're going to get 2 unbumpables. It all depends on what you want to do. Now, the cool thing about this is if your opponent takes control, I'm just throwing this out at you guys. Say he takes control of this guy right here and he decides maybe he's supposed to be, blitzing, whatever. He decides to control him instead and try to take away all this short middle crap right in this area here. Well, he cannot take away everything. He might be able to take this guy, and this guy's more likely he's going to pick this guy up as he's coming across on that crosser. He can't pick this guy up too, and he certainly cannot pick this guy way over here up. So there's no way he can defend all 3 of these pass routes that are unbumpable. So it's impossible. And so if that's the case, then you should be able to have it. If he takes control of, say, this, let's go back and zoom in again. Say he takes control of this guy and he decides to defend that post route, that deep post route, that's fine, because now you got that crosser and you still got the whoop route. So you've got plenty of options to throw to with this particular play, depending on what you want to do as far as on the offensive side of the ball and what he decides to do on the defensive side of the ball. Somebody's going to be open. I'm going to do one more thing here I want to talk about. I want to talk about that other curl route on the outside. I haven't really broke it all down too much. Even though he gets jammed, if you time that just right and you've got a pretty darn good elite receiver such as what we have with the Buccaneers, that Evans, he's not going to get jammed. Even though he gets jammed, if he's worth a darn, and when this particular receiver is, a lot of times you can still hit that curl route. So even though that's not an unbumpable, that route's pretty effective. All right, so let's go on and move forward just a little bit more. One more thing I want to point out to you guys. What if they come out, I'm just going to run this in this case here. I'm going to go into a blitz from the double A gap out of the nickel double A gap, just because this is a blitz that does bring some heavy pressure. It's going to be called the mid blitz. So let's go ahead and run that. And what if they blitz? What if they blitz on you? What am I going to do? Well, first off, you don't have to make any hot routes. So as soon as you get to the line of scrimmage, you can snap. While they're juking around, doing all their crazy pre-snap adjustments, trying to bring this guy down and, you know, doing all this stuff. He's trying to bring this guy down here. He's trying to bring this guy down here. By the time he gets that all done and said, you're probably already snapped the ball. And even if he does, for some reason, he's fast enough to get those guys down. Actually, that got picked off. But generally, in most cases, if you throw that quick pass to that post route before he breaks to the post, let's go ahead and run it again here. Like, I'm going to snap this really quick. In a lot of cases, you're probably going to get that. If you snap it fast enough, you're going to get that type of results. Even if he did get it up there, in most cases, I know it got picked. But even if it's an all-out blitz, then a lot of times you should be able to get up there. I'm just going to go ahead and snap it again here. And then you should be able to throw this passing play in there and have a pretty much success against. I know I got picked the first time, but most of the time, that's not going to happen. So against the blitz, look to throw to that receiver. You definitely want to look to throw to that receiver. Again, this particular receiver, as he comes into the inside here, once he gets into this area here, you want to make that throw, especially if they blitz, because if you do that, then you can beat the blitz in most cases. And even that shallow crossing route, you can pretty much get an opportunity to hit that. Now, I can show you one other thing. If you wanted to, and I didn't really told you not to do much hot routing here, you could always hot route this guy as well on a drag route and give you another option underneath for a quick pass just in case. If you do that, though, I'm going to show you real quick what will happen. I'm going to go ahead and motion this guy, and I'm going to go ahead and do all this. This might happen there where you have, let's just go ahead and snap it. I mean, you can try to make that throw a quick pass into there as well. So I'll give you another option. If you think it's cover zero, you know they're bringing the heat, and you need to get rid of the ball quickly. So you have some other options you can do. I'm going to suggest not hot routing that guy. I'm going to tell you just to snap the ball as soon as you get to the line of scrimmage, especially if you know your opponent runs a lot of cover zero blitzes, because the quicker you can snap it, the less time he has to set up his defense as far as trying to defend what you're doing on the offensive side of the ball. All right, so this play again is called the Gun Empty Trey Stack curl switch. Pretty effective of play as far as attacking press man coverage. Even just regular man coverage is going to be effective. So definitely one you want to check out. If you're following along, you want to go check this play out, check it out in the Buccaneers playbook. And it'll definitely be a play that you can run that can certainly attack that type of coverage.